I miss being here. Miss being here with all of you guys. It's but oh, you know what? Because I had on Clubhouse, you would have been able to hear me. So great to be back. Doesn't matter where you. Great to come home and sleep in your own bed and do that. Be back. Happy to be back with all of you and happy to jump right back in. Um, everyone to another episode with Amelia Antonetti. And Amelia is a behaviorist. She is an expert in women. She is here, as you know, every Friday at 9 a.m. And of course, and by the way, today's 11 o'clock session is going to be amazing. Other than Bob Burg, the author of The Go-Giver, the original Go-Giver, the Go-Giver influencer, the Go-Giver, those of you joining us at 11. In the meantime, Amelia is here and to unlock some more of those keys, to unlock the genius within all of us, because of course there's no one better to do that than the one and only way. Before I even pass it off to her, I opt for the book at Designing Genius, genius.com, and order the book. Fantastic. She speaks of not only here but everywhere, and she's going around the city near you to share to help change people's lives, your businesses, to make this world a better place. Be here with you, my friend Amelia. The mic is yours. Pass off the mic. I'm going to encourage everyone, share this room on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on YouTube. The fun and just watch, because listening to Amelia is amazing, and listening to Amelia. So join us there if you like watching on any of those social media platforms. Feel free to with those that you know could and should be here to listen to this. If you're on Clubhouse, hit the little box at the bottom of the screen, share this room, people in, because my friends, this is indeed how we can change someone's life and their business, by bringing them to the right room with the right people. Is the right room with the right people. So let's change some. Yeah. Thank you. Well, good morning. So I wanted to. I don't. If you don't have a job, if you don't have any of these resources. So again, I don't know if that person is still with us. I only caught the town, and it's a conversation. And so as a rep, that intensity, right? And so there's a lot of people, right, very, very good company, that responding back to the and the consequences to the last. It is real. A lot of people right now are a lot of people right now do not know what is my next move. So I don't want to gloss over it. I don't lay down. I want anybody to feel depressed. I want to be able to say, oh, the process that you need to go through to feel, and you know, it starts in your gut, and you're like, holy crapola, just shit to say, right? It doesn't matter how successful somebody has been. Like, do not compare yourself when and where the end chapters. Psychologically, do not do that. Here's what happens: to feel like you are not getting, you feel like your life is spinning out of your control. And again, if there's just flash your mic if you understand that I am describing this moment when you're not sure I can hold this together. I am not sure
I am not sure if I'm going to be able to look at a very narrow view of survival mode. And again, just to lend support, because it's a very lonely place when you are scared out of your what to do next. And so here's the process. Deep breath. And on a piece of paper or on your note, use your voice recording. Start talking out on the things that you know you do. What could be simple? I know I cook a good meal. I'm a gardener. I know how to fix. I know how to organize files. I know how to respond in a time. No, start literally listing everything you know how to do. Now, age of 20, you know how to do it better than 90% of the people right now in the marketplace, right? Because it's worth millions. But please hear me when I say that. This how to do that you take for granted because is a way to generate. Let me give you some real examples. Is hiring right now for people to go shopping and drop them off. You could make doing Instacart. Uber driver makes between $65,000 and $75,000. Is that going to cause you to retire? No. It stops the fire from getting bigger, right? Single business in most communities is hiring, and they're hiring than they ever have before because they can't get first. So if you can walk into gut, common sense, there is somebody that is for you, looking for you to be able to be a remote worker, looking for you to be able to open and close, that you can do to stop. Now, I'm not encouraging anybody to go and say my dream in order to go get a 9-to-5 job. What I'm saying is you have to do whatever you have to do, keep surviving until you can get it thriving. But you can survive and thrive time. So again, I don't want to bring it back to you an example. I used to morning, then go to get my education at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I then ran off. I then slept for about an hour and a half. I did truck stops serving food. I then caught night. That was the pace I run at in order to support my brother and I. From that mode, I working at a truck stop, and I used those to then start building my business. So I still cleaned up, still worked at the bakery. I still cocktails hours to start building my business. And then 2 hours of building my business to 4 hours of building my business until it be able to tip over. If you're like, I don't have a car, I don't have the money, knock on your neighbor's door. Go door to door and say, I do weed, I babysit, I will really take the list of the 10 things that you can do to the door. I promise you, if you get an hour with the list that you have, you will come home with a job. And what stops people from is the embarrassment that is represented. And so it's your ego that says work at Chick-fil-A. I don't want to want to waitress. Okay. The ship's sake. Because it's about doing whatever you have to survive. Whatever you have to do. And this that I have started, it starts grunt work. The absolute grunt. Which means I am not hire in any level emails, do admin, calendar, send Zoom, like copy, right? Patricia spends on a daily piece of thing that I actually have to look at. Creating Google Drive, sharing calls, being tenacious, right? I hunted somebody down and they wouldn't return my phone call, so I was like, okay, well, I know where you're having until you actually schedule the call that I need you to schedule with me. Of doing what you absolutely is the test for success. Will hand you shit to see in order to be deserving of the next level. I personally do not know Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Scott Simon, familiar with doing did the grunt work and then offloaded it, and then we did a little bit higher level work, and then a little bit higher work, and then brought in the next higher. Where we are right now, refusing work. We're very familiar with the very familiar. That's why we are where we need to go. I know little things that it takes to build a business. Those things, some things and some things I suck at it. Doesn't mean that I don't do it. I do have to do to protect my team, and my humility has been because my ego is very well tucked, doesn't serve me to have my I'm too good to whatever. I have cleaned offices, I have waitress, I have yard work, I have built pony walls, I've installed fish, I have done driving, I have done every job that you can think of in my life. To feed my kids, I would shovel shit tomorrow. So please, your ego stop you from doing the next, because in that next right move, and there's so many of these stories, somebody was all the way down at the bottom. They started working, collaborating with somebody else, and became the next unicorn. Lined together for a purpose. Nobody does it alone. No, you can just look in this stage and on somebody here looking to hire somebody, roll up their sleeves and get shit done. And so if you have a job, you have a job, a person that is willing to do to ask yourself, do I really want an opportunity, or do I want a reason for me to have? You're looking for a reason. There's a million reasons why. There's a million reasons why. It doesn't matter. Or swallow your pride and say, what can I do? What do you need for you? And start with 1 hour working for that person, 1 hour working for this person, and slowly through to get to your goal. how do I get to $1 million? I always say a $10 item 10 times, and then $10 item 10 times. Can you sell 100 times, right? So that you start to see the pattern of, because if you can sell $10 10 times and then 100, how do you sell 1,000 10 times? To find out point is, whereas I can sell 100 items, okay, then master the $100. I'm sharing with you right now. This is the plan to get from where you are. If you're starting from zero, somebody that you're reading about that can't tell you they got their ass handed to them and they had to start back at zero. So many times in my life, I now can just, because it's learning how to get back up when others, and so master the set to get up when you don't want to wait to feel like it. You're not going to ever feel, you don't feel like doing anything. You feel like sitting in I know what it feels like to go, this is not fair. This should not be overwhelming. It is overwhelming. It's freaking overwhelming. And I get it. Through it is with a buddy system. You need a buddy to go, does this suck? Now, what are we going to do? Street, and I'll take the right street, and together we'll meet in the middle. Front work. And find a buddy. And if you don't have a buddy, I will tell you, knock on door first 10, you're going to find a buddy, because you're going to knock on the single mom, and I'm trying to hold down my 9-to-5 job, debt, right? I don't know a successful woman who doesn't need wife skills. We need you. That's this morning, because I don't want anybody here to feel alone and realize what it is that you can actually do. You have the power. You just don't want to. And I'm telling you right now, none of us want to. But that's okay. We do it anyway.
Well, this has been gold, and there's so many things.
Gold. There's people here going, she's a bitch.
No, there's so many.
Golden.
There's so many people that hear what they need to hear. So, and they just want to hear and get what they want to get. And the reality is, results, or you can have excuses or reasons. And to your point, there's so many people that are not willing to because they're above that. Oh, I did that 20 years ago. I don't want to do that again. You don't want to do that again. Yet, if you had to do it, absolutely. People say sometimes that
I'm doing stuff I haven't done in 20 years.
Yeah.
Literally haven't done in 20 years. But so much, right, that the content to businesses and what I've done has to be into easy steps, step by step, to really provide the life skills, the mindset skills for people to get right. And so, Patricia, who's her master, right? I was like, when her and I first started talking, I was like, oh, I don't want it. Oh, I really don't want it. I hate every time. This is my fourth book. One, two, to a child. I was like, I can't do it. I cannot do it. Single day, we have a work session, and she pulling things out of, I think everybody knows that nobody knows, to build what you see now in Designing Genius. Is really Patricia's genius.
It's leaving a roadmap, right? And the one that's drawing it for you with your knowledge. So, and that's the time people get stuck because they don't know which way to go. That's because they don't found that person that has already. And most people have failed more times than the beginners ever tried. And anyone at the top of their game has started at the woman didn't land there, and you said something that was great. You've got to dare to suck, right? Because in the beginning, at their skill or their craft, when they first get started.
My social media.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everybody's like,
learn, right? Like I'm trying to learn. Like I literally go, okay, this works, right?
You're doing great though.
Right before I want to understand how to do it. My way of leadership. I need to do something that I haven't done myself.
100%.
And I'm making mistakes. I mean, and again, I'm trying to figure out how to do something, and somebody goes, yeah, that's kind of me. I'm dyslexic, and I spell a lot of things. The content. Thank you for realizing that I spelled the word wrong, but something from it, right? And so I'm totally transparent. I'm a forever student.
Yeah.
I'm a forever student. Very eager to put the life skills back in our. Way too many kids going off to college who don't. There's way too many people right now that are trying to start their understand what drives value in a business. There's way too many people trying to build a life, and they're trying to create a love, not a life story. And so, for me, as your behaviorist, right, my job is to be here for you and to give you behaviorally on whatever challenge is in front of you. Try to point out to people is they create a in their head, and they are married to that, and the love story psychologically, but create pain. That's all it will do, because you're creating these crazy situations that don't really exist back to your real, and this is part of what Design Genius does. What is it? And allows you to kind of like try that on, because more than 50% of the time when people come X and we go, well, this is what you're going to trade for it, they're like, so understanding what you want. And if you really think, do you really want a love story? Looking for somebody to do life with you that causes life to be so rewarding, so good, is that the fact that you with someone or with a group of, so Patricia Scott and I, like we started part of building this business, and yes, do we want? Absolutely, but the richness of getting in the story that we share of how to get back up, and how often, like, on camera was back, right, or doing something and I deleted and lost, right. The thing about doing life with somebody creates the richness and the value. You don't really want somebody to come in to whisk you away, because that feels after the first 5 minutes, right? They don't tell you what happened after the man showed up on the white. What happens after that feels empty.
Well, one of the things that I share along that very thought, if a knight in shiny armor shows up to rescue you, his armor is still shining. He's got his metal has never been any more than you do, right? So run and
yeah. Well, and I don't think we want to be rescued. It doesn't mean rescued, right? It's evidence to say, okay, there's nothing wrong with you, right? There's nothing wrong with you. This is all fall down and get up, and your goal should be my goal. My goal is am I better than I was
yesterday? That's it.
Am I a little bit better today than I was?
Progress.
Consistent steps is what gets you to the goal. Nobody health program and tomorrow they're down 6-pack abs, right? And you could go to the gym for make no difference the next day. It's incremental. Spend 20 minutes every single day, day 20, day 30, you start, right? It's the same thing about going my life, and I got to go from suck to neutral. You've got to do small things every day to get, and then from neutral, you start building, right? We'll take you through those 5 areas of focus and what they are and how we're into each and every day. But that's the mindset that you have. Cannot get so married to where you are. Great. I have now identified point A, and it's awesome. And then you go, okay, now point A, do I want to keep? Right? What do I want to keep about how I feel right now? Maybe right now, what I want to keep is, okay, what else? Well, I actually have people, so I'd like to keep that too. And then you go, okay, what else? Well, I'm really healthy and I am pretty smart. And so as you go through your list of the things that you want to keep, when you can acknowledge, even though life, there are things about your life you think your life sucks, living somebody else's dream. Your dream. Because the things on that list that you actually is somebody's goal. It is, and you can never forget that. As horrible may be, I know I love, and there's somebody out there who just wishes they had children. I know that I want to keep the amazing people every day. There's somebody out there who just wants a friend. Don't underestimate the that happen in your life, because that is what for as you walk through the next couple of and what happens is when you build that within you're building your worthiness. You are building the bulldog in you, because you can look in the mirror and go, I bet. And the next time life hands you, oh yeah, I recognize this. I've been here before. You're sleeping, you do it again. And I think for people that we've had to walk through it so many. You put that fire in front of me, I don't even flinch anymore. Oh yeah, I remember this. This is the grind. This is the grind. I think it starts with the grind. It starts with the grind. Compare your grind to somebody's other side.
So good. There's you laid down so much through a whole lot of crap as well. You know, and I say, they swim across an ocean of crap. Is that when you come to a lake, it's no big deal because you've already know what it's like to serve between going from extreme low to an extreme high with those lessons and learning those lessons along the way. It's just easy to get that hole again because you haven't learned the lesson. You haven't grown through. That's the dangerous part, right? Everything.
Yeah, I just did a post about men. There are a lot. Again, every single person in the world is in pain. Somebody idea what's going on in other people's movies, but what I can tell you is people, and there is a very myth that's out there that are literally, and that is that they have to do this alone. The answer. And if you have a husband or a friend that happens to be a man, do not forget help and support too. I literally, I could be borderline crazy. I was just Starbucks yesterday, and there was a guy in front of me who was having a bad day. It oozed, and I know we're in a place supposed to be, hands off and political and all that stuff. But I am who I am, and if you don't like me, then just hit me. Feel it in him. And I went over to him and I just said, "Hey, listen, like, I feel you." I'm like, oh, I know you. I go, "Do you need a hug?" And he like I was crazy, but he did. I'm a huge hug, and I was like, "Hey, listen, I'm in this neighborhood. I'm here often to get my coffee. You're not alone." And I gave him some, and I gave him one of the male support groups that I colleagues, and I said, don't dig your digging out of alone. There's success. Stop solving whatever it is you're in your head. And I gave him my number, and he said, "It's never happened. Nobody's," and I didn't think of all this problem not by myself, because I called my brother going on, and I just wanted to say thank you. And I share that story is you to connect. You have the to heal. You have the ability, and if you're in pain, your life sucks, the fastest better is to do something for somebody else. You're at the bottom, do something, because the energy you put out at your lowest comes full. Tenfold. You need to hoard and hold on. You actually, that is when you have to be the most vulnerable and give back every time. Every time. So that's my soapbox this morning. I see Mariana. I see Susan. Hello, Susan. I see Jackie. Jackie just had a wonderful launch of her, excited about her stuff. If you're not following Jackie, just click her here at the top. That's going on. Oh, look at Cherise here this morning. I welcome people. I really want to be able to lean in so that we can connect, because I think a lot of people right now need a virtual hug.
I think you're right.
And we get crickets.
You're absolutely right. And I'll just say this for a minute, and I'll reset the room. And then, but the reality is what you said. You said so much, but certainly the enemy of happiness. You can't compare your chapter 20. You don't know what their journey has been like, because I heard is that in social media you only see the highlight reels. You don't see the difference. So just make sure that you're not comparing yourself to other people. If you do have to start over, you're not starting over from scratch. You're starting from you learned that lesson. So I just want to remind everyone that we are Amelia Antonetti for the Genius Hour at 9. We are here every Friday at 9 a.m. to 10, and then today we're going to have the one and only Um,
Bob, I'm excited about Bob. Boy, we've known each other. I'm so excited about having him on this afternoon. And with the Designing Genius, the people who've been going through the program here in the back chat, so that I can help them specifically. So again, when you go through that with your actual headlines, your actual on how you're building. So I'm always quick to try to reply and on IG. So if you go to Instagram, I'm doing those messages. So for those people going through, I'm very excited for you, and I'm always here at the answer any of your questions.
Yes. So, and if you invite here, make sure that you're sharing this room. Click the little box at the bottom. I'll ping some people in, invite people in through the social media. And of course, we are streaming live this morning on LinkedIn. So if you're listening or watching there, make sure that you're. And if you're listening on Clubhouse, you can have that interactive experience of listening to it. So thank you again for being here. We invite you again content because what Amelia is dropping here is absolute common. There's going to be some question and answers that's coming up.
Yes.
Let's go.
Chime in. I know you guys don't be.
Hey, Amelia. Hey, I'm so happy that you and Tony really be open to just say, hey, Tony, specifically your story. I hit rock bottom 2019, and your story, and when you shared it, it really helped me stay focused, just like Amelia said, on what's next, what's the next thing, my way out of it. And like you said, you have experience really starting fully over like that, but sharing on stage, just that vulnerability, you guys sharing your things a lot, it's gonna touch somebody in a different way. But Tony's story really resonated with me. So thank you guys so very much for this platform. And the books are come, and I'm looking forward to 3 p.m.
Thank you so much.
And remember, it's still, of course, Amelia's got some around the program. Then there's a little bit of time. Yes. Listen, and Amelia has gone through many of the same things, through what you're going through, and every next level of you, new level of you. So the things that you're having to go through in life, God, the universe, whatever it is, preparing you for what it is you say you. Without those skills, if the opportunity, or if that, but if you haven't learned it yet, you're not going to be able to have opportunity and unlock that next level. It's about unlocking those little genius keys lessons, right, Amelia?
Oh, listen, and getting peaceful with the fact that you're a forever student into this destination. There is no destination. There is no destination.
Well, there is for all of us, and we don't get there.
Right? It involves dirt. Really, when you adopt the mind and this happens, I will then react like A. That is painful thinking. When I'm then going to go to the beach. When I then lose, this level, when I have this much money in the bank, then I'm going to start living. Is the journey.
Yes.
The living is. You've got to literally start with there to say, I'm going to choose, even if I don't feel like it. Even if I don't feel it, I'm going to happiness, right? That's why I have, because on the days I don't feel like it, it's my cheat sheet. And then I do my perfect cup of coffee, and I go through that I've already done. So it can always today into at least an ad, right? And again, so much of this is the thinking, because everybody knows great days and then there's not so great days. And you spin them around, right? And the good thing we know as a behaviorist, we know from 100% fact, the only thing you can rely on is change. And so if today's, guess what? It's going to change. Absolutely sucks wins. Guess what? And so, hey, go ahead. Yes, chime in.
Patricia.
Hello. Did you hear me singing your case?
I did. And one particular lady that just spoke up, when she was talking about and speaking a cheat sheet, what she was to everyone who pre-orders the book and has pre-ordered. Amelia is hosting a special Q&A and discuss Eastern Standard Time about business. So that's the second in a 3-part series for the book. And then the last one is going to be, which will actually be in August. So we will send you an email or within a few hours, giving you the information. PM Eastern Standard Time Zoom with Amelia, and we'll be talking specifically about business. Call will be about wealth building. So I just want to let you already pre-order the book. You should have gotten a reminder Zoom link for that call as well. That we used last week too. If you were on that call as well.
Such a great call, Patricia. Last week we really had it. Like we got deep in the last call, and people were vulnerable and so open. And so love that because I have the opportunity to get in your help you figure out those next couple steps. So we went over behavior. There's anybody here who was with us last week, but we had.
And
we do need more men. Yes.
Last week, so let's get more men in that room.
Yeah, but it
was no fluff. It was actionable with my daughter. I think Tara could attest to this. Like Amelia is there for real. This isn't some like phantom thing, you guys.
I listen, and that's my greatest work, being shoulder to shoulder, with people move through those, wrong in the way, right? Me being able to show does and how it immediately starts on momentum that you need, right? And so I love what I do. And I love what I do. And so that's why I'm here at 9. It's why I'm here. Patricia and I are putting out the material for you to be able to follow. We're really enjoying the workbook because that becomes the cheat sheet through the course. And then, I'm excited about the calls after. But let's talk here. If there is struggle, contribute. Let me show you your own thought state so I can help you free to move forward.
Hi, Amelia. This is Corey.
Hold on a second, Corey. You said Amelia. Is that men in particular don't ask for help? There's a lot of guys out there that are struggling because they're embarrassed because they think that things should be different, but we're all emotions. And I just remind everyone because, again, this person is no longer with us. That person is no longer with us. Just know that so I honor you, Amelia, for what you did at that call.
Well, I just spoke at this men's group. I just spoke at a group, and I just said, so what you're saying to me, you think you should have had the ability COVID? Are you really putting that for having a challenge with reaching for your family because you should have predicted this? It makes sense. The pressure that they're carrying, nobody predicted this. Nobody did. I literally said, because I was bi-coastal between California and New York, and a couple of weeks, so I'll hang out in New York City. I literally thought COVID 2 weeks. I never thought I'd be shutting down. I never thought any of it would happen. To the men, I was like, when I say that, how unrealistic your expectations, we're all recovering from something that we didn't plan. And so for the men who are retired and going back to work, or people that whatever, selling houses and assets and whatever in order to kind of like rebuild, welcome to the club. We all are. We all are. And so none of us, we know now. We know now. And my desire is to, the college kids that are trying to get ready for this, speak to the men that are putting pressure on themselves and reach over to women to say, listen, right? It really does, right? To be able to create that unifies us stronger. The problem is that when we feel, people's first reaction is to isolate. With something that derives from your ego, isolate. And when I help you understand the ego that you're battling, you can put it down. You can tuck that and lean in for vulnerability, because none of us can get where we want to go alone. It's not possible. For men too. And you've got to your brothers. You've got to lean in. Connection is not power. It's your power.
Amelia.
Sorry, Corey. Come back in here.
You said that last week. It's Maria. Hi.
Hi.
Last week, I recognize that my ego is isolation just brings you deeper into that whole issue. That the last 7-8 days have been very, 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 very different for me because of that. What you need to hear again about the ego. You don't even realize you're battling something that you can't touch, you can't talk to, you don't know if you can't talk to it and share it. So when friends, you really don't know what to say because you don't understand. I'm going to not say anymore. Keep that because it was life for me.
I love that. Thank you, you're here, and I'm glad that you share, and I'm glad that you come because you unlock the keys for other people that are listening. What I was talking about with the ego is that the ego tells you a lie that it's protecting you. Shadow whisper is that you. And the reality is the is isolating you. And when you build your life, it's a very lonely journey, and it backs you into a corner. And if you need anything about narcissism or abuse, you will find a very of how the ego is used situation. And so what I'm asking you yourself, by listening to the ego that is leading, because isolating never anything. You will never fix anything. Growth doesn't happen. Success is a team sport. Of a team is if you connect, and is if you put down your armor. And it's hard. It's because what we start to feel is we start to feel our own vulnerability, thought to run from it. You act, and so what I try to give kids analogy is being a boxer, right? And I watched a lot of boxing in my life. And the art of an MMA fighter is that when somebody's throwing a punch, the reaction is to pull back, right? To move away. The art form of being an MMA player or a boxer is exactly when it's coming at you. Because the closer you keep, the least damage the punch will do, the more that sucker's going to hurt. The closer you can get. And why I use that analogy, I want you to harness the craft. Ego rises within you, and it is to start that chatter, right, of what's wrong in the world and why you should isolate, quiet that noise, and lean in, pull back, lean in and pull through. Why the pre-work that we have in design for that, the exercise that I'm talking about. When I hear that, I lean in with, I have a big heart, I mean good. Like I talk my way through my ego in check. And first and ego does not protect me. Every time my ego rises, I know it's a giant red flag. I just see it as self-protection in the behavior now to be aware when my ego is circle around me to help me lean in my vulnerability to say, what am I supposed to learn in this? So it's only rising because there's something for you to learn, and for you to do something differently than isolate, defending your position. What are you going to do different than normally did? And so, Maria, you just made a great point. Normally, now you're leaning through a phone and talking to people. Just to say, you can, which I do. Tony, I'm done with you. Hi, I'm having a bad day. It doesn't matter why I'm having a bad day. I don't have to support. I have a bad day, right? And Tony talks to me, and what happens is I'm not actually having a bad day.
Yes.
I'm having a bad moment. And so, and they help you through the moment and the entire day around. It's not a whole day. You don't have a bad week. You don't have a bad week. You have a bad moment. And it becomes 2 moments. You feed it again. It becomes 5 minutes. You feed it again, and it does become the hour. The opposite way. And the opposite way is the ego. You start to heal.
That's so good. You know, you're right. People have a bad moment that they milk all becomes a week. A week becomes a month becomes a year becomes upset and angry, and that Scrooge, and they don't let something go. That happens whenever. So let that crap go. Take the good, leave the bad, and move on.
Which is a simple question: is how I feel right now is closer to where I want. If what I'm feeling is, and if the answer is no, then you just go. I can't control this. This is not serving. I visualize me and putting it over here in a little box, welcoming in one of my little hats, coffee, 2 little kisses, whatever it is, my little day.
And
I literally visualize moving the thing that isn't serving me.
And you can actually collapse NLP. It's a bunch of different things, but you can actually take that good thing that you're thinking of and use that to negate the other one and make it just an emotion. There's no bad emotion. They're just signals instead of life. Just calling your attention as to where you focus. That's all. And again, you said something before. Your pain, or if you're going through a bad time, it doesn't last. And if you're going through a good time, well, either life is ups and downs, and we all. Corey was coming in before, so I wanted to give her. We only have a couple of minutes. Mariana, I know it's coming a little choppy, but Corey, I know that you had come in, and then if you can go to Mariana if we have some time before we go to David Meltzer, who I know is already in.
Yeah, and I just appreciate it again, everything that's been not being enough time for this. But I just wanted to point that some people, it's important whether they dropped a pencil on the floor and they're up to losing an aunt or an uncle, but their emotions. And so if you could talk to that, Amelia, because it looks at somebody else and says, well, that's bad. I've had worse happen to me. But their emotion is still impacting them the same way that it, at the same level that it.
Yes, and yes, your emotions have meaning and value to you. Have only the amount of value you want to put. And so if we're in a dialogue and I'm telling you that, you're in a saying you're bleeding, we're both bleeding. There is my pain is bigger than your pain. Pain is pain. It's pain. And there's no justification for pain. The response when somebody is, what do you need from me right now? What be of service of the person that's in pain, to try to have a pain battle. That's right. And so if you're in pain, might have you prove to me you're in pain. That's the word. What do you need? What can I do? Do you need a hug? Do you need me to come over? What do you need from me so that and having those relationships of service is, but to be fully aware that in our world, most people, something is happening for everybody. Meet people with just a little bit of empathy and a little bit of grace. Turn it over to Mr. David Meltzer. Both see them here on stage, and they provide wisdom as the guys do the rapid fire here. Or if there's people that that do have questions, please see Mr. Meltzer.
Yeah, and listen, I'll just add.
Hey, good morning. And it's always a pleasure. I look forward to